Hey everyone, I just wanted to spend a little time going through some of the bigger changes and fixes that went into this Festive update. First things first, we added a bunch of festive items to the game. Head over to the seasonal store to grab these limited time decorations and spread the festive cheer. That's not all though. In the spirit of Hokko and the festive season, I wanted to let players be creative with their decorations, so now there are 3 new design tool materials available for you. Holiday decorations, gingerbread kits and snowballs. These are all craftable in game, but you can buy them in bulk from the seasonal store during the winter holidays. With these materials, you can decorate your own tree, build gingerbread houses and create your very own snow people. Moving on, I have another big announcement. Korean, Polish and Brazilian Portuguese translations have been added to the game, expanding the number of languages Hokko is available in and the amount of players able to enjoy the game in their own language. Now let's have a look at some of the gameplay changes and fixes introduced in this update. Firstly, when you're at home, you can now turn off and on the main lights using the L key or the right stick button on the controller. If you're placing out items, you now have the option to toggle snapping using tab or the left stick button. If you're placing an item and you have more than one of that item in your backpack, you can now press R or the right bumper to continually place the item until you run out. This means you don't have to keep going back into your backpack every time you want to place the same item again and again. Fishing in Hokko got a bunch of love this month, starting with the minigame. This has been reworked to be less confusing, far less punishing, and easier to play with one hand. Treasure is now linked to your timing when snagging a fish. Catching a fish while the marker is in the sweet spot will add treasure to your line. Just make sure you don't lose the minigame or it'll get away too. On top of this, I fixed a bunch of bugs with fishing. For example, fish no longer swim through rocks on the ground, and fishing challenges complete when you've caught the required amount. Oh, and I also added the boot back to the game, so beware, sometimes when reeling in a fish you might catch an old wet boot instead. With the design tool, I made a few changes and requested improvements that will hopefully make the lives of Hokko creators out there a little bit easier. Firstly, I added a new tools menu. In this menu, you'll find a button for toggling snapping, changing blueprints and turning on and off guides. Speaking of guides, I added an outline of the avatar to them, which helps you get an idea of how big your item is in comparison to your character. In the tools menu, you'll also find the select all button. This button will select all the pieces in your design, letting you easily move, rotate, scale, delete, or duplicate everything. Now, before saving your design, you'll be presented with a new screen where you can capture a nice snapshot of your creation, which will then be used as its icon throughout the game. Alongside these, I made some more minor changes. Now, time is paused while you're in either the painting or the design tool. I tweaked shoes in the painting tool to make them less fiddly to paint, and I also fixed the design tool so it doesn't change any copies of an item you already have placed in your town. Now I know that there are a bunch of issues with the beginning of the game, and although there's a big update to address all of these coming in the near future, I wanted to fix a few things with this update that will hopefully make new players' interactions with the game a little bit smoother. Unlocks for blueprints and crafting recipes are no longer tied to villager requests, and are instead unlocked once that villager has moved to town, removing some of the frustration when progressing through the game. Sometimes, players can have issues with a flower planting quest at the beginning of the game. To help with this, I've updated Moss's shop, so that flower seeds cycle through a set order, which means now you can reliably know when a flower seed you're after will be in stock. While we're talking about the shop, a few smaller bugs have also been fixed in this update. The bug preventing mahogany and small bush seeds from showing in Moss's store has now been fixed, so now they'll start showing up where the conifer tree seeds are located as well. And lastly, one of my most favourite items in the game, the equipable pink balloon, never showed up in the store despite being in the game for a long time. I'm happy to announce that that bug has now been fixed, and the balloon has a chance to be displayed at the back of the store where the bug net is located. You can equip it just like a tool or other item and enjoy the summer or winter days with a friendly pink balloon bobbing high above you. These are just some of the bigger changes that went into this update. There's a whole bunch of smaller fixes and improvements accompanying them, so if you're interested, check the patch notes to get an idea of everything that's changed. Thanks for watching, and as always, let me know your thoughts and comments either below, or hop into the official Discord server to discuss your life in Hokko with other community members. Speak to you again soon!